on Friday, closing at its highest level since May 3, the day that 1000 point correction kicked off. Now, the index has now rallied in 5 out of the last 6 sessions, gaining over 650 points from the recent swing low of 21,821. It has now retraced 61.8% of that entire fall from record high to the swing low we just discussed. The next target for the index now works out at around 22,600 mark, or 22,586 to be precise, as it is nothing but the 78.6% retracement level of that entire fall. A close above this could perhaps open the door for record high levels, and the record high on Nifty currently stands at 22,794. So if we do break above the first level of resistance, which is 22,586 with the 78.6%, 22,800 odd level could be the next big target that Nifty and the bulls can hope for. On the downside, support 1 works out at around 22,422 levels. This is the 61.8% retracement mark, and we are just about 44 points away. This is where we are just about 44 points higher from those levels. So perhaps if that is broken, 22,350 odd level could come into play. That is where the 20-day moving averages, and it also coincided with the Friday's intraday low. The 30 share index has also, the Sensex has also added about 230 points, but could not take out 74,000 mark. It has managed to close at its highest level since May 6th of this correction, but 74,000 has not been taken out. We are about 83 points shy of it. Shifting focus to the broader markets, they continue to outperform headliners. Nifty Midcap index has in fact hit a fresh record high on Friday, closing about 0.88% higher. The index is now on a 6-day winning run. The small cap index was the strongest pocket of the market today between all the three segments, the large caps, the mid caps and the small caps. Small caps were the outperformers. They rallied over 1.5% and extended their winning run to 4 sessions now. Now, this remarkable rally in the broader market especially has helped bulls maintain a stronghold in this recovery. Since the tipping point, the advanced decline ratio, before that, remember in this crash that we saw, advanced decline ratio was heavily in favor of the bulls. But in this recovery, the overall sentiment has now tipped in the favor of the bulls. Now, if you look at the advanced decline ratio today, it's almost at about 2:1, meaning 2 stocks rose for every one that fell. Shifting focus to the sectors now, Nifty Bank, which remember has been a laggard, managed to participate in the recovery. The banking index closed about 0.3% higher and also managed to end above the 48,000 mark after a gap of 7 sessions. However, unlike Nifty Bank is yet to close above the 20-day, which is placed at 48,241 marks. So I think one can only say that the bullish momentum has resumed in Bank Nifty once that level is taken out, which is a 20-day placed at 48,241 mark. Although a close above 48,000, I mean, that speaks volumes of itself, because again the index, whenever we would see this fall, the index would always struggle around that 48,000 mark, and once it would take it out, it would add another 1,000-1,500 points. The auto, pack, metals, media were other outperformers. Each of their respective indices closed with gains of about 1 to 2%. Meanwhile, IT and pharma indices, both of them ended with red. The IT pack was the worst performer. It ended with cuts of about 0.085%, as you can see on your screen, and the metal and the pharma pack actually ended with minor gains of about 0.08%. But to share his views on the market now, Mr. Kranti Bhatini, equity strategist at Wealth Mill Securities, joins us. Kranti, thank you for giving us time here on News9, sir. Again, the recovery continues for the markets overall, and I think what's more surprising to me is that the broader markets, they are actually outshining your headliners. Typically, at a time like this, when volatility is super high, you would expect the focus to be on your large caps instead of the broader markets. But mid cap index today hit a record high. The small cap index continues to do well. It's on a 4-day winning run. What's causing this optimism, sir, in the broader market specifically?
Yes, that's what it shows. We have been kept on telling on your shows time and again, Indian market is a resilient and resurgent market. So every dip in Indian market, whenever there is a panic strikes, whenever there have been moments of knee-jerk reactions, it's a wonderful opportunity to pick up stocks without any hesitation for a medium to long term. Of course, in the shorter term, there might be some kind of hesitation with some kind of fear mongering in the markets, how the things are going to pan out. But for a medium to longer term perspective, definitely Indian market is positioned to buy on a dips. But Suyash, from here onwards, for the markets to give a breakout, as you rightly mentioned, the Nifty has to close decisively above 22,700. Then we can expect a further breakout of the in the market, further rally. But till now, in the remaining time, right now we are going to witness some kind of a range bound kind of market. The Nifty levels have been 22,200 to 22,500. Market can be swinging in between. We need to get the greater clarity from the election poll, from the results. So that's what we can expect, the further momentum. But for right now, if you ask me what is causing this rebound in the market, one thing is the positivity of the market is that there is a consensus view. There will be a policy continuity. But the confusion here is, what is creating a overhang on the market is the numbers. Right? So that we need to wait and watch for some more time to get the exact numbers. And the earnings season has been quite good. There are no negative surprises till now, and the managements are quite optimistic. That's what causing the markets to sustain. And to add to your point, Suyash, we need to take this point into cognizance. During this period, FIIs have sold to a tune more than $2 billion. But look at the resilience what India has been witnessing, Indian market has been witnessing. It is the domestic retail investors and also the DIIs, how they have been building up the position in Indian market. So the liquidity and the sentiment has been quite positive. These are the two reasons for this rebounding nature in the market.
Right, Kranti, you made actually two very good points over there. I think the market, as far as this correction or volatility is concerned, it was looking at what the final tally for NDA government is going to be when June 4th comes around, if they do return to power, that is. Right now, I think from reading multiple polls, the expectation is from somewhere 340 to 370 plus or minus, 10 seats from there. So I think if we still fall in that range, the market may not see an outsized sort of an impact. But again, if the number, if there is a big positive surprise, let's say BJP crosses 400 plus seats, I think we can see a good rally play out in the markets itself. But at the same time, if there is a big disappointment, if the number, if the final tally is much lower and below the 300 mark, I think the market will correct very sharply. I think it will be the correction will be sharper than what we would see if there is perhaps a positive surprise. Speaking with other experts also, they are also expecting that. And also another great point that Sir made was that FIIs have been selling rampantly. They have pulled out close to $4.5 billion worth of equities from the cash segment in just the first few sessions of Indian markets. But again, our domestic institutional investors, they have been rather strong, and the retail participation has been strong. And time and again, we would earlier at least, FIIs had a lot of say with what was going to happen in Indian markets. But in the last year or couple of years rather, your domestic institutional investors, even when FIIs are selling, the markets are hitting record high, and that perhaps speaks volumes about the inherent strength and the strong belief of our domestic investors in the Indian markets. But with that, let's take a short break. Mr. Kranti Batini is here with us, and we have plenty more to discuss with him on the other side.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre. In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
Has Allu Arjun arrived or he's just taking off?
If I really want to hit a moonshot, I want the moon.
These are big stories.
It's very unique to Indian cinema.
What would be the relevance of tradition?
I would believe that the first change has to come in the mind.
World premiere on the 18th of May only on News 9 Live at 9 p.m.
Welcome back. You're watching Last Check here on News 9. Before we went for that break, we were talking about this incessant selling from foreign institutional investors. Remember, they have pulled out nearly 37,000 crore from the Indian markets in the first half of May itself. And I think Kranti, I'll come to you. I think there is another reason why perhaps this FII selling could continue, because China's consumption data came out. While the retail sales were low, the consumer growth is still slow. Factory output jumped massively. It was up 6.7% year on year for the month of May, and much ahead of expectations. And I think a lot of it has to do with external demand. So considering also that China remains much cheaper than India, they are trading at a PE of about 10, whereas we are twice as expensive, in fact more than twice as expensive, at a PE of 24.4. Could that continue or lead to further rally from further pull out from foreign institutional investors, at least in the very short term, sir?
Suyash, there might be some lot of hot money that came into India in the form of ETF and also some index money. The hedge fund money came into the Indian market. So that hot money tend to fly. That can be possible, and that's what we are witnessing. But the long only money which is dedicated for the Indian markets, I don't think so. It's going to run away from the India. They are going to stay invested in Indian markets. And Suyash, there is also a lot of money has been waiting on sidelines, which is dedicated exclusively for Indian market. So liquidity is not a problem for Indian markets at this point of time. Otherwise, $2 billion in a single month, it would have been a shaky ground. But we are at a firm note right now. The long only money is going to come back to India. But the reason for the Chinese low valuations is because of the future obscurity of the growth prospects there, and also the current trade wars. There are multiple reasons for that, and also the data what we get normally from China is not clear. So these are the factors that has been keeping the majority of the foreign portfolio investors to stay away from India, and they have been waiting for a market which is with a strong growth and also sustainability. India is the better choice for them. So I don't think so. We need not have to worry about these kind of knee-jerk reactions FI tends to give at this point of time. In fact, if there is a chance of a significant amount to get out of India, pull out of India, definitely it's a good opportunity for the Indian retail to take that pie of growth for a longer term perspective. But I don't think so. The long only investors, the money dedicated for Indian market, is not in a mood to run away from Indian market immediately. Suyash, it's a long way to go. There are a lot of events are lined up in the coming months and years.
And I absolutely agree with you, sir. And it doesn't, I think if one is following the FII strategy, it's clearly not working out in this market, because wherever they are selling, the market is hitting record high. But, we'll continue that conversation some other time. Let's shift focus to defense stocks, because they have been on a tremendous run. Yesterday it was HAL that rallied, HAL that rallied over 10%. Today it was Mazgaon Dog that staged a rally of 12% or so. And last 5 days, all of these stocks have, risen from somewhere around 15% to 27% compared to this 4% sort of a surge we have witnessed in Nifty from the recent low, in fact less than 4%. So Kranti, my question is simple. I mean, we know that the focus of this government, the incumbent government, has been infrastructure, has been defense, and these stocks did correct before May. So could this be good time to get into defense stocks, even though they have rallied from what, 15 to 27% in just a matter of 5 days, sir?
Suyash, I have been bullish with respect to defense stocks from quite a long time. And I expect the rallies in these stocks can be continued over a period of time, because these are all the very strong business models and the earning visibility is quite strong in these companies. And Suyash, if we go back and if we recollect 7-8 years back, 5 years back, we don't have any defense sector in India. But today we have a defense set of stocks which are going to take the advantage in the defense budget in India, which is formidable and phenomenal in India. So any dip in these stocks, definitely it's a warranted buy for the investors, but one need to exercise the stock specific action. Look at the market capitalization shares, HIL for that matter. It is the market capitalization now is around above 3 lakh crores. So in the past 1 year, the market capitalization has been risen from 150,000 crores to today at 3 lakh crores. 1,50,000 crores means it's almost all equivalent to if a small cap company market capitalization is 10,000 crores. If you take on an average a good company or mid cap company, it created 15 mid cap companies. That kind of market capitalization, that kind of wealth these stocks have, stocks like HIL created. And the remaining stocks also like names like Cochin Shipyard, Garden Reach, Mazgaon Dockyard. These stocks have a strong, formidable business models. So investor can take the advantage of this growth and this defense theme on a medium to longer term perspective. Suyash, any dip in these stocks is a very good opportunity for the investors to accumulate for medium to longer term perspective.
Right. All right, and so as we were talking, the numbers for the Q4 numbers of JSW Steel have come out. I mean, at the first glance, they look rather disappointing. JSW Steel reported almost a 65% year-on-year decline in net profit. The net profit figure stood at about 1,322 crore in Q4 of FY24 versus 3,741 crore in the year ago period. Meanwhile, revenue also dropped by about 1.5%, coming in at 46,269 crore versus 46,962 crore in the year ago quarter. But the street overall was expecting a big massive decline of about 50% in net profit. So the numbers, although they are at first glance looking disappointing, they are sort of in line with what the street was expecting. And I'll come to you, Kranti. I mean, the stock did end about 1.7% higher, and we are seeing a very strong rally play out in metal pack as whole. And although it has been copper and zinc that has been on investors shopping list, but steel stocks, I mean, they have also seen a good bit of run up. You see Tata Steel, JSW Steel, both of them have done fairly well in the last five trading sessions. In fact, they have outperformed your broader market indices and Nifty on the whole. Look at the 5-day returns of JSW Steel, up 7%, and in the last 1 month it's up 6%. 1 year somewhere around 28% actually. But Kranti, again coming to you, sir, at first glance, what's your take on JSW Steel, and could that be a stock that one can add to their portfolios?
Yes, yes, never seems to be look disappointing in the medium to short term. But this is a stock for a longer term perspective, not for just a quarter on quarter perspective. Even given the infrastructure theme, the capex theme that's taking place in the markets at this point of time, definitely JSW kind of names going to get benefited in the longer term perspective. So any dip in these kind of stocks, one can add in their portfolio without any hesitation, I can say. But there will be short term blips will be there in the medium to shorter term. But given the kind of stock fundamentals and also the strong balance sheet and the strong business model they enjoys, one can add these kind of stocks as a portfolio stocks into their core portfolio.
All right, that's a word coming in from Kranti Bhatini on JSW Steel. Can be looked at to become, perhaps a portfolio stock, but there will be corrections, intermittent corrections on the way up, but the outlook is bullish on JSW Steel. But, Kranti Bhatini, thank you for giving us time here on News9, sir. Always a pleasure speaking with you. But it's time to end the show. We are running out of time. We'll see you come Monday at 9:45 a.m. as always on First Take. Thank you for watching.
You were the chosen one to direct Mr. Bachchan for his first endorsement, for his first appearance on the small screen.
It was a life-changing moment.
Have you been a rebel with a cause?
There was a sense of responsibility, there was a sense of frustration.
Are you worried about cancel culture?
You tell a story with a fierce psychosis, you're gonna spoil it anyway.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है मनी9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
Has Allu Arjun arrived or he's just taking off?
If I really want to hit a moonshot, I want the moon.
These are big stories.
It's very unique to Indian cinema.
What would be the relevance of tradition?
I would believe that the first change has to come in the mind.
World premiere on the 18th of May only on News9 Live at 9 p.m.
That ink is a semi-permanent dye called the indelible ink.
We are the sole manufacturer of this indelible ink.
Don't try to repair something which is working.
And if you have facial recognition, you can go vote in any booth anywhere based on where you are, and then it will be recorded that you can't vote anywhere else again.
Can we retire indelible ink and use biometrics? Theoretically, my answer would be yes.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
America, there is an inheritance tax. In India, you don't have that.
कांग्रेस की लूट जिंदगी के साथ भी और जिंदगी के बाद भी.
Our manifesto combines ideology with effective administration, with delivery that is long overdue.
Rahul Gandhi is talking about redistribution of wealth. These are the things people are alert to. They want to know, what does Congress say when you say redistribute wealth?
India is expected to sign an agreement to oversee the management of Chabahar port for the next decade, making it New Delhi's first venture into managing a port overseas. According to reports, Shipping Minister Sarbananda Sonowal is travelling to Iran for the signing ceremony. Now, Chabahar is a hub for the international north-south transport corridor, will allow shipping companies to use an alternative route that bypasses the sensitive and busy Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz. Furthermore, it will give the Indian Navy an important staging outpost in some of the most strategic yet troubled waters in the world. Here's why Chabahar is crucial for India. average container spot rates have more than doubled since early December 2023. In some cases, prices have increased up to 4 times compared to October 2023 rates. Agricultural products are among the early casualties. Delays have hit the export of perishable goods. Freight costs for basmati rice exports have surged by a whopping 233%. It now costs up to $2,000 per 20-ton container. Increased freight costs also threaten automobile and oil companies. Managing this risk would require maintaining higher inventory levels, which involves greater holding costs. Essential medical supplies are also impacted. For instance, life-saving drugs faced over a week's delay in December 2023. Rerouting textile exports around the Cape of Good Hope has led to missed deadlines and penalties. Clothing manufacturers in Tamil Nadu's Tirupur reported delays of up to 2 months for shipments headed to Europe. Steel exports are also facing a similar fate. Now, if the security crisis in the critical Red Sea route continues for a few more weeks, production may be the next big casualty. Sectors with low inventory levels and just-in-time manufacturing processes are particularly vulnerable. From electronics, automotive and machinery, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and plastics to textiles, apparel and consumer goods, the impact would be felt across industries. The Indian government has taken a proactive approach to mitigate these risks. India is actively engaging in diplomatic talks with Iran, given that Iran has influence over the Houthi rebels. The Indian government is facilitating easier access to credit for those affected by the disruption. Additionally, protective naval escorts are given to Indian container ships in the region. The Indian Navy has also been prompt in dealing with attacks and hijacking attempts on commercial vessels in the Arabian Sea.
Can the Trinamool candidate from Baharampur hit the ball out of the park?
50-60 दिन बहुत ज़्यादा बोल रहा हूँ, उससे पहले ही काम दिखने स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे.
Pitted opposite Pathan in Team BJP is Dr. Nirmal Kumar Saha.
The fight is not Adit Chaudhary and Nirmal Saha. The fight between Modi versus Rahul Gandhi.
Yusuf Pathan and Nirmal Saha, two professionals who have switched to politics, are taking on Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Can one of the first-time politicians end his winning streak?
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
I don't think anybody has isolated Ajit Dada Pawar. Ajit Dada has isolated himself.
That led to a lot of bad blood between the ruling partners.
It is not true. You know it very well, who these elements are, who these individuals are. And these are the very reasons why you see a division in the party. Now this contest between Supriya Sule and Sunetra Pawar is really a proxy war between uncle and nephew, and it's being fought in the family bastion of Baramati.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
The game of power politics has begun. The poll bugle has been sounded. Who will receive the death blow? Who will be checkmated? It still remains to be seen.
ये दिखाता है हर कार्यकर्ता का बुलंद हौसला.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
वो पूछते हैं कि हम कौन है गालिब. तुम बतलाओ कि हम बतलाएं क्या.